Good evening, everyone, and welcome. My name is Rudy Page, and it's great to be back here. And what we're actually doing today, it's part of our series of our creative economy activities. And in fact, this is the UN International Year for the Creative Economy. And we're also will be acknowledging the 1 year to go for the Commonwealth Games, which are 28th of July through to the 8th of August 2022. We also will be celebrating Jamaica's 60th anniversary as well. So we've got a number of initiatives from across the diaspora, UK, USA, and we've got some of our regular visitors. So before we go to our UK visitors, I'm going to really speak to our colleagues in the US first. And I'm thinking of Charles, Dean, and Parry. And I'm going to come back to Beverly, Diane, and Angela in a while. So good evening, cousins from the USA. How are you all?
We're doing well.
Excellent.
I wanted to actually ask Rudy. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with the project, but we have a video that we share that gives everyone an idea of what we've done and where we're coming from, where we're going to some degree. And I wanted to share that video today. Is that possible?
How long is it? I should think
it's 5 minutes.
Okay, I think if we do it just before the end, that would be great.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so excellent. So thanks for that, Charles. So we've learned a lot more about Jamaican heroes modernized. Thanks for that. So Parry, I'm going to go to you next. So you're new to our platform. So if you just tell us a bit about yourself and everything, would be great.
Thank you very much, Rudy, and a very good evening, everybody. My name is Parry Hines. I am from Jamaica, resident in Atlanta, in the restaurant business for 27 years, and I dabble in quite a few other areas of enterprise. I am a singer, songwriter, vocalist, background vocalist for many known and even more unknown artists over the years, spanning about 40 years. My current endeavor and my reason for being on this meeting today is to present my involvement with what is the inaugural Jamaica International Independence Festival Song Competition. And this is generally a consideration of the limitations of people in the diaspora who want to be participants in the Festival Song Competition, who have been constrained or restrained, for lack of a better word, by their geographical location. And in many instances, I hate to say, the politics surrounding the competition locally for as long as it's been in existence. This competition had seen numerous entrants from the diaspora, including parts of the UK, Germany, among other places. And there were 12 semifinalists selected by online votes. The same format was used in making the determination of the 5 finalists plus 2 wildcards selected by a panel of judges. The finals of this event will be this Saturday, the 31st, and it will be live streamed. In my capacity, I'll be multitasking as production manager, producer and director of the event. I will also be a part of the entertainment package as a guest artist. The conceptualizer of this competition, Gary, has been making attempts to get on, but he's actually driving. And I would have rather to defer to him to give more specifics and details as it concerns the competition. He is actually on his way to the airport. We had a little miscommunication in time. Pardon me. I too assumed it was 1 o'clock US time. And he was in office at the time, trying to get on. Unfortunately, he's had to leave and may not be able to join us today.
We'll get him on another occasion. We'll do a one-to-one with him.
Yes.
That'll be after the competition as well.
But in a nutshell, that's who I am. That's what I do. That's what I'm doing. And just for your edification, you can spread the word that whomever is of an artistic caliber who desires to be heard musically, this is a platform on which they can be showcased going forward.
We're very pleased with that because on Fresh FM Radio London, we have a program called Talent Quest. And so we've been in dialogue with Gary through you to actually have that competition linked to your initiative, which is really important, because an important part of our work for the Diamond Jubilee celebrations is to link as many of the diaspora organizations and their initiatives together. And we're going to hear much more about that from Charles later as it relates to the Jamaica Heroes Modernize. So to us, we would see this very much as as an infrastructure initiative, because obviously reggae music, gospel music, they're integral to the work that we're doing in terms of inspiring people to travel to Jamaica next year under the Homeward Bound program, which is supported by Diamond Travel, Jamaica Tourist Board here in the UK, and some other entities as well. So I think that really fits the picture. And Diane, maybe you could just say a few words about the Reggae Tree actually, and then bring Dean in to talk about how the Reggae Tree in Hermitage as well, because there's a great linkage between all those initiatives.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. So the Reggae Tree is in a place called Harlesden in Brent. So it was planted in 2018. So I have a friend who's a local councillor that he told me about this Reggae Tree that was being planted. So before I went to church, Sunday morning, I followed him down to the place where they were planting the Reggae Tree. And I was invited into the picture. Dawn Butler, who's one of our MPs, said, "You can't be wearing pink and not be in our picture." And there I met Kwaku as well, who has got me involved with so much and has given me the responsibility of getting the Reggae Tree looking more like a reggae tree. So that's a project that I'm working on at the moment with Rudy and our local councillors. And it's great to know that the Reggae Tree is inspiring Jamaica to plant reggae trees. So, you know, I grew up on music and, you know, whatever I can do to help a community. But that reggae tree, you know, at the moment, it's not looking like the Reggae Tree we want it to look like, but it will, because I've got every faith. And now that I'm involved fully, it will. And so I say, you know, so we've called it Under the Reggae Tree. And it's just, you know, so there's great conversations and so much that can be had around that reggae tree and around trees, because I've even fallen in love with a tree in a local park. So I'm going to call that the Reggae Tree as well, Under the Reggae Tree. And so, you know, I say that reggae tree is standing right there in Harlesden, and it is, it's blooming now. But some people don't know it's a reggae tree, but we are going to make it look like a reggae tree, as I've said. And sometimes, you know, you can kind of compare it. So we walk in this world and, you know, people are just ordinary people, humble. Some people are, and they don't get noticed. And that reggae tree is inspiring, you know, Jamaica. So it's an inspiration. It's just like people, you know, there are people that are so humble and just go about their business in a quiet manner, but they are very inspirational. So, you know, and our tree is inspirational. So, and it's going to be even more inspirational as time goes by God's grace. So that's
Thank
it.
you,
Yeah.
Diane. And the Homeward Bound program, we will have people from all backgrounds, Jamaicans, friends and family, and from different cultures. And so the base will be here in Brent, where we'll be organising everything. So the organising office here in London will be actually in the borough of Brent, which is West London. So Dean, before I come to Angela to talk about the passing the baton legacy and young people. So Dean, the reggae tree now in Hermitage and the inspiration behind that. Tell us about that.
First, I'd like to apologize. They're cutting the lawn, so you might hear a little back. Sorry about that.
Well, we didn't know until you told us.
Just in case. I just quickly like to add for Mr. Parry Hines for the audience. He's not just a guest. He is the special guest for the artist. So that little special means so much for the program. My name is Dean Roden. I was born also in Kingston, Jamaica. Myself and Mr. Parry grew up in the community of Hermitage, where we are planning to have that reggae tree. I moved here to the United States. I have been representing Jamaica as a scout leader. I also work with what is called New Arrival. I was a guide. I was a program director for adult education program here in Connecticut, where I teach the US citizen, people who want to be naturalized citizens for 10 years. And these were mainly Jamaicans who leave and come here. So we call them the New Arrival, where I guide them in different direction, to get their driver's license, education, whatever work, whatever I do. So I've been doing that for 10 years. So I'm now a part of the US diaspora. We have met my brother Rudy Page to the diaspora. And our objective is connecting. By working with Rudy, we have learned about the reggae tree and Hermitage, which is what you call the reggae music, where is the heartbeat of reggae music. And we are going to be one of the community that would like to be the first community to have it enter into Jamaica. So we are preparing for that spot. There's a spot there that we start to water it. In Jamaica, you start to water the garden. So we are preparing that soil. So it's an honor for us to make that connection. And when you heard about England, where it's coming from. So the community is there preparing for it for next year. There are several programs that we like to display there. And where it is going to be going, that's where in Jamaica, what we call Cultural Day. We have the first Cultural Day. And in that community, I might be wrong, but that's supposed to be the first Connolly, Miss Lou, Ronnie Williams, they perform, and that Third World, several well-known artists celebrate, perform in that park that we're planning to plant that reggae tree. So it's an honor for me to be here on this program. And thank you very much, Rudy, and your team for the wonderful work that you're doing.
Right, thanks for that, Dean. Angela, just before I come to you, I just remembered Beverly, I think, needed to leave a bit early. You're on mute. Okay, you're okay. All right, and an important part of what we're doing as well is passing the baton. So there are for youth involvement. So all our activities have youth involvement. We will have a youth advisory group as well. And so what we talk about, the 21st century skills as it relates to young people, being collaboration, communication, creativity, critical thinking. And the three pillars to our youth development program are basically young people need somewhere to go, young people need something to do, young people need someone to show them how. And it comes from the Passing the Baton program, which was part of the Olympic London 2012 Inspire program. So I'll pass over to Angela on just to say a few words around that.
Okay, good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here this evening. Great to hear, Diane, about the work that you're doing. Harlesden being a place that I grew up in. And I remember that certainly on Tubbs Road in Harlesden, many years ago, we had a group of young children who planted trees, and it was right at the end of Tubbs Road, and they called it Pocket Park, and it was part of an initiative to improve the community. So, and I remember that many years ago. So it's great to hear about your initiative, the Reggae Tree. I like that. So yeah, as Rudy's talked about passing the baton, certainly from my perspective, being involved with Rudy for a number of years now, with a passion for young people, it's important that we pass the baton to the next generation in all its guises, helping them to shape their future, to make positive choices. But information, education, all of those things, cultural identity, being proud of where they come from, knowing their history, all of these things are so important. And for me, my parents both from Jamaica, St. Elizabeth, my mom, Kingston, my dad. It was important for them to kind of instill in me about my culture and to hold on to the values and to know about my heritage and to go back. And I'm conscious that there are a lot of young people who have never seen Jamaica, don't know about their heritage and all that kind of thing. So for me, when it comes to passing the baton, it's about making sure that our young people are educated, they are informed, that we share our knowledge and our skills, we share our stories as well, because that's how we inform them, that's how they will learn, that's how they will grow, and that's how we keep our legacy alive. So I suppose that's the kind of important thing. It is about the legacy. It's about raising awareness about the positive things. These things that we're hearing about, the competition, performing, creative arts, expressing themselves. It's important that we encourage our young people to be able to do that in a positive way, and learn the interpersonal skills that they need to navigate their way through life. So the passing the baton does all of those things, collaborating with a whole host of organizations, groups, and also the health and well-being of our young people is also important as well. So in all of those things, it's helping to shape our future more positively. So I know we're struck for time, so I'll leave it there, Rudy, if that's okay with you.
Right, no, thanks, Angela. And actually, that's a great segue to Charles, as it relates to the Jamaican Heroes Modernized program. And as you can see, back to the culture. So Charles, I'm going to hand over to you for the next few minutes to give us the overview and the film, etc.
Yeah, no problem. So great to meet everyone. The new faces. There's Uptown Link up, I don't know, and Debs. That is
that's Sean and Debs.
Okay, awesome. I think I've seen Beverly Lindsay before in one of the videos you shared with me, Rudy.
Yeah.
I think everyone else in the parade, good to meet you as well. So what I wanted to do was to kind of give everyone, there's a video that we have, I could talk about the project and share a bunch of things, but that's that I believe sometimes seen is just much easier to digest. So I'm going to share, so Rudy, if you can give me sharing privileges, which I have. I'm going to share this video with you guys about what we're doing, and hopefully it will give some perspective about the project.
Great.
So here you go. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Fantastic.
The Jamaica Heroes Modernized project seeks to empower independence, create legacy and heritage, preserve the Jamaican culture, and enhance national pride and cultural unity. We are modernizing the Jamaican story, transforming the portrayal of our national heroes, and connecting the world to our culture with a multidimensional approach using film, music, art, a new digital presence, and print collateral. 5 weeks ago, we launched an awareness campaign to foster unity in the Jamaican community and raise funds to drive the project forward. To date, we have done so much more. But before we can fully understand where we are, let's talk about how it all started. August 2020 birthed an idea. In the middle of working on a painting to highlight the last 46 days of George Floyd, Jamaican-born artist Charles Mark Fife Smart got inspired to do some research on Marcus Garvey, which then catapulted into discoveries on the 6 additional national heroes. He wanted to bring dignity to their visual representation. What he was actually doing was modernizing the portrayal of Jamaica's national heroes. A conversation with film producer Winston Delaware and a video on YouTube showcasing the beauty of Jamaica done by James Bailey solidified the drive and passion. Now, modernization requires transformation, so the images were moved from dull black and white portrayals to colorful, dignified representations. This, however, was just the beginning of the journey. The idea of owning the Jamaican story kept germinating, and telling the stories of the Jamaican national heroes through film was the next step. This required teamwork. Conversations needed to be had. Teams needed to be built. First, we needed to be certain of telling the stories from an authentic historical perspective. So a mastermind advisory group was put together with the custodians of our history. Calls were made to the Consul General of Southeast United States, Oliver Meir, social historian Maureen Shepherd, Dr. Stanley Naya, Dr. Clinton Hutton, Dr. Carolyn Cooper, and cultural ambassador Hugh Dowse. The talent to bring the docu-series to life became our next focus. Suzanne Delaware, who does work with Netflix, Disney, Kevin Hart, and the Kardashians, joined the production team as our cinematographer. Jamaican-born Olive White, whose award-winning work can be seen on Stars, took the reins as director. And of course, filming must happen in Jamaica, so we identified a multi-talented producer on the ground in Sharando Farrell. As the work progressed, we discovered that searching for information in a digital space on our national heroes proved to be a tedious task. JamaicaNationalHeroes.com provided the solution. Here, we aggregate and centralize all things related to our heroes, providing a level of access that did not exist before. The work has already begun. By the time we're done, our heroes will be officially welcomed into the digital age with all things being one click away. Now, creating a groundswell and pulling in our Jamaican community for the ride was inevitable. We found some of our brothers and sisters across social media, including Clubhouse, a space where our group called I'm Backing the Culture gathered every night for 30 nights and shared information on our language, our history, our heroes, our music, our politics, our culture. It was impossible to miss the personalized culture ground work by our culture ambassadors, all across social media, Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp profile pics, and display pics in Clubhouse. Our community motivated us to take the next step and share our culture in another format, a live online comedy special. Of course, planning a comedy show for online streaming was no easy feat, but having the team both in the US and in Jamaica made it all possible. Jamaica's most elite comedians were approached. The support of Oliver Samuels, Valir Massey Johnson, and Owen Blacker Ellis was locked in. But next thing you know, we had a free live online event streaming to over 60 countries and reaching more than 20,000 people. This machinery was now on fire. Our network of online platform connections was used to host the final event of Caribbean American Heritage Month with its founder, Dr. Claire Nelson, and Dr. Julius Garvey, Marcus Garvey's son, as guest speaker, discussing Marcus Garvey's exoneration efforts. The foundation was clearly laid for another event, which came in the form of a culture bashment featuring the ever-popular, supremely energetic Ricky Trooper from Sound Trooper and the legendary Rolling Stone Love. Broadcast on over 25 cable channels globally, 8 radio stations, all while streaming through numerous Facebook and YouTube pages. The very next day, we had our first watch party on Beat.com, sharing 2 award-winning films from our director, Oni White, and our producer, Sharando Farrell. This phase of the journey all started a mere 5 weeks ago. The awareness we've been able to create has sparked unity in the Jamaican community, both locally and in the diaspora. and instill a new level of Jamaican pride. The journey continues. Join the movement, become a culture ambassador, get your culture crown, and show your Jamaican pride. Click JamaicaNationalHeroes.com.
So that's our little spiel that we share that I think tries to give a just an understanding of the project and what we're doing. In addition to that, you know, the project really is about a lot of the things that I heard many of us talk about earlier, which is, you know, preserving our culture, making sure that the next generation understands where they came from, and also making it available to them. You know, we know that the digital space is where they live today, and so we're making sure that the content is going to be available to them in that space. We also realize that a lot of times Jamaican culture and our identity and the image and the way that we're portrayed is not necessarily reflective of how we see ourselves authentically, especially for us growing up in Jamaica. And so we're taking ownership of that story and making sure that the way that we portray that image is not, Jamaica is not just a beach, it's not just, you know, Rasta men and people smoking weed, and it's not just a vacation destination, but there's so much more richness to our culture, right? And in our Jamaican community, I also want to show that there is a way for us to accomplish things and to empower the independence that our heroes, you know, allowed us to have right now, and to move that forward and to really anchor all of those things under what we call cultural unity, right? Whether you're a JLP or a PMP, you're Black, you're white, you're Chinese, you live in Jamaica or you live in foreign, you still like ackee and saltfish, you probably still clean your house on Saturday morning and still drink soup on a Saturday afternoon. And that's culture, and that's Jamaica. And so we want to connect people in that way so that we can really, you know, bring us together as one. And so in order to do that, we've seen the need to not just focus on Jamaica and things that we're doing in Jamaica to make the project happen, but to also engage the diaspora. You know, there are more Jamaicans living outside of Jamaica than in Jamaica. But not only that, you have the second and third and fourth generations who still consider themselves very much so Jamaican, and will have a desperation to connect with their heritage and connect with their heritage, not just from a Jamaican perspective, but also going all that to Africa. So by us owning the story and engaging these, you know, this group of Jamaicans, not just Jamaicans in Jamaica, but Jamaicans everywhere, we're building a coalition behind it. And this is how Rudy came into the picture, where as we started to go out and build the different groups, we have a group here in South Florida, we have a group in the North in New York with the diaspora group there. We have a group in Hartford that's helping us there with getting the word out. We have organizations in Canada, the JCA. And so Rudy came on board to help us in the UK to spread the word and engage the Caribbean and Jamaican community there so that they're aware of what we're doing, so that this becomes a global movement. And of course, we have activation points online where we can build a community. People can become a part of the communities that we have online and you know, engage and get involved and not just be a part of it. So independence or emancipendence is coming up around the corner. And so there are a number of activities that we have here in South Florida. The Mayor City of Miramar, they have the largest Emancipendence celebration, and we are completely integrated into that event this year, where the entire event is centered around the heroes and the Jamaica Heroes Modernized Project. And we're going to be, you know, showing banners of the heroes, talking about it at the event, and of course, videos and a number of other activations. We're also integrated with some of the events that are happening in Hartford with the West Indian group there through Phyllis, Airy, and Andel Green, and the JCA that with all the virtual events. Canada is still not completely open as yet. So all different activities around the, you know, the globe where we are, we're making sure we integrate and get people to be aware of the project. Where we are right now is we're focused on getting prints into the schools. The project has 5 different components. There is a film component, the music component, a digital component, and a print component. And the print component specifically is focused on, hang on a second. Yeah.
Be hurtful. ECH. F.
And let me just hang this up.
Be hurtful. ECH. F. Call from.
If this
Be
would only,
hurtful. ECH. F. Call.
okay. But the Prince, my apologies for that. The Prince component of the project is really focused on the kids in Jamaica, the next generation. So if you go to school in Jamaica, there are these walls where they have the paintings on the walls. And so where we're focused right now is on replacing those, complementing those walls with posters of our heroes along with their major accomplishments. And so that's across 176 high schools in Jamaica. And we are basically going to be installing 7 of these very large aluminum permanent posters so that the kids, when they're walking through the halls, they'll not only be able to recognize the heroes and understand who they are, but they'll also be able to have, access to basic information about them. We're also embedding QR codes onto those images so that they can scan them and they will take them to their website, which is JamaicanNationalHeroes.com, and they can find out more information about the heroes and the contribution and all of the different references, whether it's books or poems or movies or songs that were written about them, will all be in one place where everyone will be able to have access to that information. So that's where the project is. We're also working on our first episode for the film series. It's a 10-episode film series. And we're starting with Nanny. We're in the pre-production phase of that right now. And, we have the first song already halfway completed. Of course, you see the images here that already, started. So the project is well on its way. We're chopping away. It's a big project. We need to get it completed by August next year in time for the Jamaica 60th. And the project is also formally endorsed by the Ministry of Culture and is also being looked at as the legacy project for the Jamaica 60th Diamond Jubilee celebration next year. So it's going to get quite a bit of attention, if you will, in the press. So that is why we're here, to let everyone know about it. And of course, Rudy is our lead ambassador for the project in the UK. So that's my spiel.
Thank you very much for that, Charles. And what's great about that, it links perfect to what we have been speaking about in terms of young people, in terms of passing the baton and heritage and legacy. And we're all about alignment. So we've reached agreement with George Ruddock, Managing Director here of the Gleaner UK, to actually run a historical quiz that aligns with the Jamaica Heroes Modernised programme. So I'm glad Charles actually mentioned about Nanny being the first in terms of film production, because what we'll be doing, we will be running the competition through the Gleaner and other online activities based on each of the heroes within their historical context, which is most unusual. So what was actually going on in Jamaica and the world at the time when these particular heroes, say like Nanny was 17 something or other, I'm not sure in terms of the Maroon agreements, 1730.
1730s. She was alive between 1680 and 1750.
Okay, yeah. So the competition will reflect that. And what's also great, and Charles mentioned about the involvement of the young people in Jamaica. So those of you would have heard us before talk about the Diaspora Beacon of Hope program, which is co-chaired by Keisha Howe. And she's been able to get the Jamaica Teachers Association involved. So that's most of the leading primary school principals. So she's actually working on this project with Charles as it relates to the schools. So you can see how we're sewing together the connections through culture, heritage, and the legacies there. So it is a monumental program of activities, but it's always good to climb another mountain. So it's just another challenge that we will deliver on. So thanks for that, Charles. And you'll be hearing a lot more about the Jamaica Heroes Modernised. And before I just finish and pass over to Beverly to help close out the show, because we're just getting near the end. Another important aspect to all of this as well, that here in the UK, we will actually have an advisory group as well. And there will be a blend of experience and young people in that advisory group. And it, again, completely aligned with the Jamaica Heroes project. It's because it's, in a sense, the first infrastructure project that we've had that I know of in my lifetime here in the UK as it relates to culture, because it covers all areas, and we've touched on music earlier on. And it's, most importantly, it's accessible to all, regardless of background and status, which is really important. Just quickly, before I come to you, Beverly, mentioned Sean Grant, Uptown Link Up, HRS Studio 99. And in fact, another element of the work that Fresh FM Radio London has been doing, we've run a program called Kingston 7 Beats over the last few months, and that's given upcoming and established artists the opportunity for their music to be heard every month for the last few months on Fresh FM Radio London. And all that work, hard work, has really been put together by Mr. Sean Grant. So well done, Sean. Thank you very much for your contribution. So just Beverly, we've got 2 minutes. So I'm
glad for that. I don't have to say anything.
Yeah, so last word with you.
Good evening, everyone, and just lovely to see you all, and some of you again, and some of you for the first time. 2 minutes. I'm from Beverly Lindsay from Diamond Travel. We wear many hats, but I'm here on the Diamond Travel hat this evening. And I'm delighted to be collaborating with Rudy Page, and, you know, Mr. Fix-It, I should call him, or find some other name for him, because he seemed to wear so many hats. I thought I had hats. So you know, making connection work on the Homeward Bound program for 2022, we will be rolling out a series of events that will be taking place in Jamaica, throughout Jamaica in 2022, to celebrate Jamaica's 60th anniversary of independence. To entice you all to return to Jamaica throughout the year, all of you can go in August to celebrate the 60th anniversary in all the different parishes in Jamaica. I was born in St. Thomas, but I came here, you know, a long time ago in the 60s, although I still have my Jamaican accent. So we're looking forward to updating you with more information. And of course, you know, we have some other hats. I'm also the chair of the Jamaican Association of Jamaican Nationals. And of course, you all know that Birmingham will be hosting the Commonwealth Games next year. And we have to do a bit in Birmingham too to celebrate Jamaica's 60th anniversary of independence. So we are hoping to have a 3-day event, 5th, 6th, and 7th of August, to celebrate and to have a flag raising ceremony on the 6th of August, but more details to follow. And I can confirm that we've booked the town hall in Birmingham to have a concert, host a concert on the 23rd of July, 2022. In 2012, we had a concert, and the title was Jamaica's 50th Cultural Extravaganza, and salute to the Jamaican Olympic team. So we're hoping to do something similar at this event. And I've already had confirmation from the J3As that they will be making an appearance at the concert in next year, July. So we are looking forward to updating you with all our UK and Jamaica activities. See you all again soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that, Beverly. And on that note, I'd say good evening to everybody and see you again soon. We'll be back next month, I should say. It's Jamaica Independence. And as Beverly mentioned, and in fact, I should mention the
Our annual church service
yeah, you got the church service on
on
the
the 8th of
8th, Sunday the
of
8th.
August in Birmingham, New Testament Church of God. We'll be hosting our annual church service, and we really have quite a lineup for you. And if you cannot come in person, it will be streamed online. And I'm sure Mr. Fixit will make sure you all have the link.
Are there any other activities happening around Immense Independence, like between the 1st or the 6th or that weekend in the UK, aside from the church service?
Well, various people are doing things, but because of COVID-19 this year, a lot of things are low key and a lot of things are online. I know that High Commissioner, they will be hosting their independence service this Saturday, the 31st. They always have that on the last Saturday in July.
Okay.
There are not a lot of things that I know of because of COVID. We are very reluctant, to plan events, especially things that you have to pay paid events, because people might end up losing their monies and so on.
Right, understood.
There are a lot of private things going on, but this church service is an annual thing for us. We usually have a concert or something else running up to it, and a cricket match and other activities for independence, but we're not doing anything this year. And we always have this Jamaica in the Square kind of event as well, but we're not having that this year because COVID-19 has curtailed us.
Gotcha.
It's still around. It was not eradicated with the so-called Freedom Day. It's still here.
Yeah, I live in South Florida, so we never had COVID.
Yeah, I should just mention as well with the Association of Jamaica Nationals service, there will be a feature from the Jamaica Combined Cadet Force, the band, the brass band, and so we're encouraging support for those young people as well. Going back to our earlier point. So again, you'll be hearing much more about what we're doing as it relates to the JCCF as well. So on that note, I'd like to wish you all good. Dean, you got your hand up, one quick point, please.
Yeah,
We
I
close.
quickly want to let you know that this year, the 1st of August, it's 183 anniversary of the Augusttown. That's how Augusttown got its name. So the celebration, and just like to let you know, the Uptown link up with Mr. Sean Grants. That's a connection that we're going to be doing with the Reggae Tree. He's the person that's going to be responsible for the Reggae Tree in Hermitage. His radio station, the Kingston Beat, will be live with a connection. So I'm the middleman from Hermitage to US to the UK. So Sean is going to be the person that you're going to meet live in Jamaica, responsible for the Reggae Tree and to expand the reggae program there. So
okay, thanks for that. So we need to link Sean and Diane up in the future in terms
You've already
of
spoken.
You've already spoken. Excellent. That's great.
Thanks, Rudy.
All right then. Thank you very much, everybody, and we look forward to seeing you next month under the Reggae Tree. I think it's August the 17th, Marcus Garvey's birthday. We will be back. Thank you and good evening.
Thank you.
Okay.
You'll be back tomorrow, Rudy.
That's another hat.
See you tomorrow in another hat.
Take care, everyone. Good
Take
evening.
care. God
Bye-bye.
bless.
Lovely to see
Bye-bye.
you all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.